one dared to jump in a shower when nobody turned out to be clean. Was not even touched by the water. Just another Nazi scheme, yeah, yeah. Big takeaway, yeah. My, yeah. Big takeaway, yeah.
I feel like it could have come earlier, to be honest, just because we only played those like 9 songs, and we did it 6 hours a week, and so we knew them so well that it was like some practices could go by without us even having to like really talk. You know, we could just do it. It was just kind of like autopilot. So I feel like it could have come earlier. We've gotten so much better as musicians. Just like I think about it all the time, and Lucas always like tells me that like he feels better, more competent as a guitarist, and I feel the same. Just because we put in so much practice. We went way more than we needed to for those 9 songs, but I feel like we just got better.
I was pretty damn nervous. I remember like the sound guy who was an asshole was kind of like adding some stress, and then like Jared was clearly extremely nervous, and that was making me more nervous. But I remember like I went to the bar, and then Liam was there, and he was like, "You're gonna kill it, man. You're gonna kill it." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe." And then he bought me a shot, took a shot, and then it happened and went on.
I was super nervous, of course, because it's a lot of people that like I didn't really know too well in high school, and they were all like vaguely there for Lucas, and I feel like I don't know, it felt strange giving like a performance to people that I didn't really know, but at the same time I kind of grew up with, you know what I mean?
We didn't really know if people were gonna like it at all, because we didn't really play it for anyone except you.
Usually when I'm playing a song, I think that I'm doing terribly. But that one, I don't know what it was, but from the start, I could just feel... Because in that one, there's a lot of runs, especially in the intro, there's a lot of runs where there's silence. Or like in between when Nick's doing his fill, and all I have to do is like slowly press on the whammy, and I have the harmonics going and just resonating. You can look up and take like a break from playing, you know what I mean? And so for 5 seconds, you can gauge and be like, oh shit, like people do like this. And then you go right into it.
No, also, I mostly remember that moment as how exhausted I was by that point, and just like it was good to just not be at the mic and not put on my like little energy show that I do, and I just kind of got to sit back and let like Jared take like the spotlight for a sec.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna be a summer band, to be honest. Not that we would like break apart or anything, but I thought the starting point was getting the set list in April, and the ending point, the natural like terminus to this band thing was gonna be the K-hole would end, whatever, August 9th, I think. And that would be it.
Yeah. They all said that. Nick said that too. We weren't going to do anything after the first show. I always had a bigger pictures. Always, you know, maybe it would have been a one-time thing if it sucked and then nobody liked it, but
then afterwards, after the concert, we all got like 15 seconds of fame, and we were like, oh shit, like, we should. I remember thinking like, we can do this.
You know, it's hard to say. Maybe before I didn't know if it was gonna be a one-time thing, but as soon as like the first show was over, I just knew it was like, oh, this needs to like keep going. We need to keep growing.
Oh yeah, Lucas was at a bar. He might not remember that because he was so drunk. This is a T-Bones right after, but and I was driving, so I was totally sober. And we were at T-Bones, and he like just like turns around and he like grabs me. He's like, with your talent and my charisma, we're gonna make it. And he just hugged me, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely was fun, for sure. It was cool. It was really cool to see how it was done. Eric was really cool. I liked him a lot. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
Spacing out at the lecture hall. Oh, to mistakes, one incoming call. I loved you, ho, maybe a quarter now. You're not doing much, but just bringing me down. Oh, go start the car while you pay the check. No wonder your sister's always at my neck. And it's so grotesque, all the resent built up. Just throw away the key and slam the door shut. Is it boredom or apathy? Well, it's starting to get to me. Oh, you're holier than now. I'm really losing it now. It's a self-conscious sabotage, really bent to the brim. Holy mother of God, there's so much new in the sun, and there's no way that we're gonna last. Deep fried every night, never making it back. Oh, the bodies are catching up quick.
Well, it started in the summer because I actually had something to like that really was like, damn, I want to write a song about this because I had that shit job where I was landscaping and my boss Bill was a piece of shit. So I was like, I could write a song about this. I did, and I just like was playing around and I played a riff and I was like, that sounds good. And then it took a while to write like the first song because I hadn't really done it before. Kind of just took off from there, and I was like, now I understood like how I could put like the different elements like to arrange a song, and I was like, was able to do it more and more, and I realized, oh, there is a lot of things I could actually write a song about. I don't have to be like going through this insane struggle or like facing extreme adversity. Like you can write songs about, you know, situations that are very real to you and make it seem somehow relatable to somebody else. But it wasn't a lot of frustration. It was kind of, since it was so new, it was more fun. It was cool. And then like taking what I had in my head and then bringing it to the rest of the band. And it sounded usually way different than it did in my head. And still, I was like, okay, will this work still?
Lucas would come with like the bare bones of a melody. Gunnar and Nick would fill in, and then I would add on like a harmony part or like just like a solo thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Probably the hardest part though was at first, like when we first started making our own originals as the band, like when I took what I had written and I brought it to everybody else. It took a whole day, like it would take like 6 hours to make one song put together. By the last song we had written for the record, we did it in like 30 minutes.
We learned a lot. Like you can even tell, even in just that album, starting with Kill Bill to the complexity of like probably WYD or like Groundhog. Like there's a stark difference between the two, you know.
I think Nick definitely can understand like better now, like what I'm kind of trying to go for when I like bring him something. But I wouldn't say we're not at the point yet where we're like in each other's heads, you know.
Should we do Bad Brains?
Yeah. That sounds so much better than
in the headphones.
Oh my god.
The headphones, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. I was like the whole time I was like, oh, we sound so bad.
It's also hard if the drums are in there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
what I mean. Yeah.
As long as you can like monitor enough to play.
That's all that.
It's kinda
Okay. Cool.
That, yeah. But yeah, good. Glad you guys are digging it. It's definitely sounding awesome.
Yeah. Then that's fun.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, so we're jumping into live world. So
Yeah.
I'll throw a couple mics on those amps.
Yeah. Should we get?
Actually, can we talk?
Lucas's voice I never really heard or even like paid attention to in concert and stuff because it's really just like loud music. But he's got like a really good voice for punk. He has like rasps at times, and it's really punk. That's the only word. It's really punk, and I really like that.
I was sort of the one who was having to make the calls about like what comes first, what's more important. But as soon as we started recording, I was like, okay, they're not gonna have enough time to flesh out what's in my mind. So like I kind of was like putting it together in my head of like, okay, well maybe this song could go here, and maybe we could cut that song, and you know.
When we were recording, I remember it was like record the backing track. So basically like Gunnar, Nick, we did all that like immediately. Then record Lucas's guitar, and then in between Lucas's guitar and Lucas's vocals was my solos. And we had like 4 songs to do in like 2 hours. And so it's like, all right, you have like 2 takes. It's like, ah, fuck.
That was another thing where, like, at the end of the first show, similar to after recording, where I was like, okay, we could do this better, bigger. Like, this makes me want more. Like, it was. First show, we didn't know if people were gonna like us at all. Second show, I didn't know are people gonna like all these songs that I wrote. Which when they did, and people were complimenting me on the specific songs after that, like I had written, it felt like a lot better.
The last time we were here, we played only covers. Oh dear. Tonight we're playing a lot of originals. We're about to bang them all out for you, if that's okay. We just spent 16 straight hours in the studio working on this record, and we're gonna preview it for y'all tonight.
Like Deep Fried, like it's just a relationship gone bad. That's all really it is. But like, you know, I was able to just put enough emotion into like how I performed with the song that it didn't even really matter that much as to what the lyrical content was. Yeah, no, it's cool because I think back to when I like 2 years ago. I think it was like over like 2.5 years ago where I was and like what this song was written about and where I'm at now. It is cathartic. It's like, wow, it's a lot of things have changed.
The things that I want to bring to other concerts, when we do shows, I want to do at least like a third to half of the set, like the hardcore punk energy, those kind of songs. And I feel like we captured that in the last show that we did. Probably better than the first one. The first one was more balanced. This one definitely had some emphasis on the hardcore, which I like, at least for a live performance. Those are the most fun.
This next one, back in the early 1980s in the hardcore punk scene, we had a little problem. This show started to get infiltrated by Nazis, by white supremacists. Yeah, boom. And guess what? The same thing's happening. out for you today. So, this little band called the Dead Kennedys, they wrote a song called Nazi Punks Fuck Off! So we're gonna play that for you right now.
Well, so that's when Jared chose, actually, which is cool because I introduced him to like hardcore punk, and then he came to me and was like, "I really want to do this song." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do that song."
And I love the energy in that song. I think that perfectly captures the like fuck you, like fuck with me, like try it, you know, perfectly captures it.
How, and like, can you speak to that a little bit about like how you see this band fitting in among like this generation?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The title of the song is like, it was more of just like this song is about is more of just like a critique of like the current status quo, in the sense of just like all the things. I mean, we could go on for an hour about what's wrong right now, but yeah. And then Generationless is just like, I don't know, it's like I don't know, man. I don't even know like how to put it into words. That one is just all emotion, honestly. It's just like pissed off. Like, and that's just like the lyrics is plagued by a revolution. To me, it's a devolution. Starved from proper retribution, I see no fit solution. Disdain for who came before us. It's clear they chose to ignore us. Yeah. So that one is just just mad at everybody.
Sicilian.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, good night.
Obviously, a lot of people came up after and said their spiel. And like they're all most of them are friends, so it's like not. But the coolest one was some dude. He was like, it was like at the very end. I was like kind of leaving. He was like, That was really awesome, man. He's like, that was really good. He's like, I've seen a lot of shows here. He's like, that's the best one I've seen in a long time. And I was like, oh, oh yeah, thanks, man. Like, who do you know? Like, like blah blah, or like, and he was like, no, like I just like come by and watch shows. And I was like, oh, like that one really hit because it was like, it wasn't like he just walked in and was like kind of like blown away with it. So like that one was like really awesome.
And it was cool. It was cool, especially because some people came up to me after the show and were like, which ones of those were yours? And like, they weren't trying to turn that into a compliment, but what that means is like, they couldn't distinguish between a professional and us. You know what I mean? So that was cool.
There was John. He was like, I don't forget. He said some stupid thing. He was like, that was the third best concert I've ever been to behind Playboy Cardi or something. Like, yeah, thanks, man.
Do you see our generation being more interested in this direction soon?
Hopefully. I don't really care because, I mean, it's rock, you could say rock and roll is dead, and in a sense it is, but like, there's still a million rock bands out there that play shows and that have a fan base, and it'll always be that way. So I don't really care if we are what's trending or we're the biggest name or, around or whatever. I just want to make music that people like. As long as somebody out there is enjoying what I'm putting out, then that's all I care about. I've like watched a lot of interviews of like bands that I like, rock bands right now, like Fiddler, and like this band called Lily. They both say a lot like so many people would tell us like, oh, like you're great, but like, that's not what's in right now. Like if you just did this, like you'd be really big. Or if you just, added this, incorporated this, and they're like, no, we just want to fucking make rock songs. Like, that's what we want to do. And like, look where it got us this far. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do whatever I've decided. Whatever I want to make is what is gonna happen.
Right on. Rock on, brother.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's a good way to end it right there too.
I've been reading up on you. Well, you've been keeping tabs on my old things in my own room. But it's too late for me to stay, and it's too far removed from the good old days and the good old you. Rap beats, old tweets, you're nothing but a picture frame. Cold feet and no sleep. Won't you just forget my name? Oh no, what have we become? Oh no, yeah, yeah. I've been cleaning up my act. Well, you've been writing papers and trying flavors behind my